All right, so travel agents. We're diving into your RoleCatcher research, see if this career path is really all it's cracked up to be.
Sounds exciting.
Now, when I hear travel agent, I'll be honest, I'm picturing, those folks behind counters with stacks of brochures.
Right.
But something tells me it's not quite that simple anymore, is it?
You're right. It's definitely not your grandma's travel agent anymore. Forget those outdated images. The travel agent of today, they're less about pushing brochures and more about crafting these incredible personalized travel experiences. The ones you see all over social media.
Okay, so less, here's a prepackaged tour, and more, let's design your dream trip. That already sounds way more interesting. But honestly, with online booking being so prevalent now, where does the human travel agent even fit into the picture?
That's the thing, right? Anyone can book a basic flight and hotel online, but today's travel agents, they're using their in-depth knowledge, their expertise, to create these truly unique itineraries. It's about understanding the nuances of a destination, the hidden gems, the local experiences.
Right, the stuff you wouldn't necessarily find just browsing Expedia.
Exactly. Or even navigating those tricky visa requirements most people wouldn't even know to consider.
Okay, so it's a lot more hands-on, a lot more specialized than what most of us probably picture. It really
It's
is.
not just hitting book on a website.
No, not at all.
But, something else caught my eye in this RoleCatcher guide.
Yeah?
They mentioned marketing, and I've got to say, I wouldn't have pegged travel agents as marketing gurus.
It's a bigger part of the job than people realize. Think about it. They're not just putting together these amazing travel programs. They've got to attract clients who are actually going to be interested in their vision.
Right. They need people to buy what they're selling.
Exactly. And that means marketing,
Yeah.
developing materials, maybe managing a budget, even analyzing customer feedback to refine their approach.
Wow. So we're talking about an entrepreneurial spirit here.
Absolutely. They're like entrepreneurs in the travel space.
So it's like being a travel designer and a business owner all rolled into one vet. You got it. And just like any entrepreneur, a successful travel agent needs a really diverse skill set. One surprising skill that RoleCatcher emphasizes is active listening.
Now, that's not the first thing that springs to mind when I think sales and marketing. So why is listening so crucial in this field?
Because travel, it's personal. It's about truly understanding the why behind someone's desire to visit a particular place or have a certain kind of experience. It's about, I don't know, it's about reading between the lines, uncovering those unspoken desires.
To craft a trip that really resonates.
Exactly. It's about more than just flights and hotels. It's about fulfilling those deeper travel dreams.
It's almost like they're like travel therapists in a way, unearthing those deeper motivations.
There's definitely an element of that.
But let's be real, for a lot of us, when we hear about these curated travel experiences, it sounds expensive. Is being a travel agent just for the luxury market these days? Like, are we priced out?
Not at all.
Yeah.
There's definitely a market for high-end travel, don't get me wrong, but the beauty of this profession is there's a niche for everyone.
Really?
Think about it. Adventure travel, ecotourism, culinary tours, you can specialize in pretty much anything.
So you could build an entire career around, say, planning sustainable trips for budget-conscious travelers.
Exactly. And that's where things get really interesting. Finding your niche lets you become an expert in a specific type of travel, attract clients who are specifically looking for that.
It's a smart strategy.
It's a powerful way to stand out, especially in such a competitive field.
This is already painting a very different picture than like the travel agent of the past.
I'm glad to hear that.
It sounds like a good blend of organization, customer service, and just a genuine passion for the travel industry.
You're hitting all the right notes. RoleCatcher actually identifies a specific personality type that thrives in this role.
Oh, do tell?
They're calling it the passionate pathfinder.
Okay, I'm intrigued. What does a passionate pathfinder look like in action?
Think of someone with a genuine love for exploring new cultures, a knack for organization, and just a strong desire to connect people with unique experiences. They're the ones who are always seeking out new information, whether it's learning about emerging destinations, staying on top of industry trends.
So they're always learning, always adapting.
Exactly.
Hmm.
Or even just, mastering the latest travel technology. They never stop.
It does sound like a career that requires you to be constantly learning, constantly adapting, like you said.
You got it.
Speaking of which, what does the actual path to becoming a travel agent even look like? Is it all about racking up those travel miles and just hoping for the best?
Well, it's a bit more structured than that.
I was hoping you'd say that.
RoleCatcher actually maps out 4 distinct career stages, from entry-level all the way up to travel agency manager.
So there's a clear progression.
Oh, yeah. It's quite a journey.
Yeah.
It is, yeah.
Yeah.
It's less about like climbing a ladder, and more like charting a course through this world of travel.
I like that.
So you might start by assisting those senior agents, maybe with research, bookings, really learning the ropes of these all-important booking platforms.
Right, because those platforms are essential these days.
Absolutely essential.
Okay, so you start with the basics, then you kind of build your way up to being one of these dream trip creators.
Exactly. And throughout those stages, you're constantly honing your skills, building your network, really developing that unique approach that sets you apart as a travel professional.
We keep mentioning these booking platforms.
Yeah.
What are we really talking about here? For those of us like everyday folks just trying to book a flight, is it as simple as it seems?
It's a whole other world behind the scenes, let me tell you. These platforms are like massive, I mean, massive databases of flights, hotels, tours, you name it. And a skilled travel agent. They know how to navigate these systems like a pro.
So it's not just about knowing how to use the platform, it's about using it strategically.
100%. They're finding the best deals, they're uncovering hidden gems, they're even using data to kind of personalize recommendations for their clients.
So you really have to be tech savvy on top of everything else.
Oh, absolutely. Tech skills are a must-have these days.
But then there's that human element too. It's like a balance, right?
Exactly. And that's where those personal connections come into play. Remember the guide mentioned building relationships with suppliers. The airlines, hotels, tour operators, all of them.
Yeah, I was wondering about that.
That's where a travel agent can really shine. Because knowing the right people can open doors to some really unique experiences. Things you wouldn't just stumble across online.
Right, like those exclusive tours, the upgrades, the behind-the-scenes access.
Exactly. It's about negotiating better deals, getting access to things that aren't available to the public.
Those relationships are like gold, it sounds like.
They're pure gold in this industry, yeah.
So we've got the tech skills, the networking. It sounds like a lot of focus on the business side of things. Do you ever worry that, like, the human element of travel gets lost?
That's where this passionate pathfinder really shines. Remember that active listening we talked about?
Mm.
It's about more than just ticking boxes on an itinerary. It's about understanding the emotional connection people have with travel.
Because at the end of the day, a vacation is an investment.
Exactly.
It's about creating memories, exploring new cultures, maybe even challenging yourself in new ways.
It's deeply personal, and a good travel agent gets that.
So they're listening for those subtle cues.
Yes. Those unspoken desires, those little hints. And then they use that understanding to craft a trip that's not just about the destination.
It's about the experience as a whole.
Exactly. The transformative experience of travel.
It's really fascinating how this role has evolved, from booking flights and handing out brochures to crafting these incredibly personalized journeys.
In a long way.
And speaking of journeys, we were talking about those 4 career stages in the guide.
Oh, right. Yeah. From entry level all the way to management.
So there's a clear path, but it's not always linear.
You got it. Some travel agents, they might thrive in a senior role, managing teams, building those client relationships.
Right.
But then others, they might prefer to specialize early on, become the go-to expert for a niche market, like sustainable travel or culinary adventures or something like that.
So there's room for different personalities, different ambitions to kind of find their place within the field.
Absolutely. And that's what makes this career path so exciting. There's no one-size-fits-all approach. It's about finding what you're passionate about, honing those skills.
And carving your own path.
Exactly. You carve out your own unique space in this really dynamic industry.
Looking at these example profiles in the RoleCatcher guide, it's really striking how diverse those paths to success can be.
Yeah, it's pretty cool.
There's this one quote from a senior travel agent, and they're talking about their expertise in developing and marketing innovative travel program itineraries and negotiating favorable contracts.
Yeah.
This person sounds like they've really mastered that business side of things.
For sure. It shows how important those diverse skills are, like you were saying.
It's not just about the passion.
No, it's about strategy, negotiation,
Yeah.
understanding the market.
And then there's this other profile, a travel agent who specializes in accessible travel, working with clients who have disabilities.
Oh, wow.
And they talk about the importance of advocating for inclusivity within the travel industry and creating empowering travel experiences for everyone.
I love that. It shows how travel agents can be real agents of change, pushing for positive change within the industry.
And ensuring that travel is accessible to everyone.
Exactly. Travel is for everybody.
It's incredible to think that by curating these personalized journeys, travel agents can have this real impact, not just on their clients' lives,
Right.
but on the world as a whole.
It's a ripple effect.
It really is. Like, imagine a travel agent who's passionate about sustainable tourism, right? They're not just planning a trip, they're influencing how their clients experience and how they impact that destination.
They're like ambassadors for sustainable travel.
Exactly. Steering them towards eco-friendly accommodations, maybe encouraging them to support local businesses, maybe even incorporating like volunteer opportunities into the itinerary.
Suddenly, that dream vacation has this whole other layer of meaning.
Right. It becomes a force for good.
I love that.
And that's something we haven't really touched on yet, I feel like. Are these ethical considerations that come with travel in the 21st century?
It's a whole other layer to the job, isn't it?
It is. It is. And it's something that it seems like today's travel agents are much more aware of, right?
Definitely. They're educating themselves on sustainable practices, advocating for responsible wildlife tourism, even encouraging their clients to, offset their carbon footprint.
So it's not just about planning the quote-unquote perfect trip anymore. It's about planning a responsible one.
A conscious one.
Yes, exactly.
And that's where the guidance of a knowledgeable travel agent becomes even more essential. They can really help travelers navigate those sometimes tricky ethical considerations, make sure their adventures are as impactful as they are enjoyable.
This has been an eye-opening conversation. We've gone from picturing travel agents with stacks of brochures
Right. Those images.
to uncovering this profession that's dynamic, it's entrepreneurial, it's even impactful, which I was not expecting.
It's pretty amazing.
But before we both race off to book our next big adventure, let's touch down from this incredible journey with a final thought for our listeners. We've seen how much the travel agent role has transformed, but one question keeps swirling around in my mind.
Ooh, I like where this is going. Lay it on me.
This RoleCatcher research, it does such a great job of painting this picture of the individual travel agent's journey, but it got me thinking about, the bigger picture. What kind of legacy does a travel agent actually leave on the industry as a whole?
Ah, you're talking about that ripple effect.
Exactly. It's like throwing a pebble into a pond. The impact goes way beyond that initial splash.
I like that analogy. It really is like that.
We've talked about their influence on things like sustainable tourism, accessible travel. But what about their role in shaping the future of travel, period?
Now you're hitting the heart of it. These passionate pathfinders, they're not just responding to trends, they're often driving them, which is fascinating when you think about it.
Because they're the ones on the front lines, right? They're seeing firsthand what works, what doesn't, what travelers are craving.
Exactly. They're like these, I don't know, trend forecasters, but with this really personal touch. They're out there gathering data, feedback, insights from their clients, from their industry connections.
So they see the gaps, the unmet needs, the next big destinations before they even hit the mainstream.
They do. They're often the first to know.
That's pretty cool.
It is.
Yeah.
And they can take those insights and translate them into action, whether it's advocating for new routes, maybe partnering with hotels to develop these unique experiences.
Or even creating their own travel companies, right? Ones that fill a very specific niche.
Exactly. They spot an opportunity and they go for it. So suddenly, the travel agent isn't just curating individual trips, they're shaping the entire travel landscape.
And influencing how we, as a society, experience and connect with the world, really.
It's huge when you think about it like that.
Hmm.
Fostering cultural exchange, maybe even challenging our assumptions about other cultures.
Right, because travel can really open your eyes.
It can. It can change your whole perspective.
It makes you realize that behind every incredible itinerary, every well-planned adventure, there's a travel agent who's not only passionate about travel, but also about making a difference.
Whether it's, like we said, promoting those sustainable practices, advocating for accessibility, or simply just, opening our eyes to new cultures and perspectives.
Absolutely. So, yeah, maybe those brochures and stamps might still be part of the picture, but the true essence of a travel agent today is something way more profound.
It's about being a visionary, a connector, a storyteller, and I think most importantly, a champion for this more meaningful, more impactful way to see the world.
This deep dive has been a real eye-opener. It's shown us that the role of a travel agent is anything but fading away, which I think some people might assume.
Right. It's the opposite.
They're evolving, they're innovating, and they're leaving their mark on the world, one thoughtfully crafted journey at a time. It's inspiring.
It is inspiring.
Yeah.
And it makes you wonder, what kind of mark do you want to make on the world? And could a career as a travel agent be the ticket to get you there?
Now that is a question worth pondering.